The Houston Astros have a big need, a left-handed bat, somebody that could play second base since Altuve is playing left field. Who is Dana Brown going to trade for? We'll go and talk about that on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. So the trade deadline is 10 days away. It is officially July 21st. The trade deadline is the 31st. So Dana Brown is probably working the phones and trying to figure out, should they make a deal, especially with all the losing that they've been doing over the past 10 days or so. But I think that they're going to try to make a run for it. They're going to go out and get an addition. But what is it going to cost? And Jim Bowden of The Athletic, he is a former GM. He's somebody that kind of knows what's going on. I know a lot of people don't really like to hear what he has to say, but Bob Nightingale kind of echoed some of what he was saying today. But we're going to discuss what Bowden said and what does that mean for the Houston Astros? Do the Astros even have the prospect capital to get this done? So this all goes back to a decision that was made over the offseason to move Ozzie Albies to left field. This was something that he was all on board about doing. He was all, okay, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go and try this left field thing out. And this opened a position for somebody to play second base. Brendan Rodgers was brought over as a free agent, somebody that if he hit well, great. If he didn't hit well, then maybe you can find somebody else. Bryce Matthews played a lot of second base down in AAA. So this was a situation that the Astros were just going to say, hey, we want to make defense a priority at second base. So let's go ahead and go out and get a gold glover that we could put at second base in Brendan Rodgers. If that doesn't work out, we'll go ahead and get plan B. Plan B was supposed to be Bryce Matthews, maybe somebody else, maybe Mauricio Dubon. Somebody maybe would have stood up. But at this point, nobody's really kind of stood out so far playing second base. And I know everybody thinks Christian Walker is a first baseman. As first baseman this year, they're batting .238 with a .684 OPS, with 14 home runs, 54 RBIs. I know that it's not all on him. His OPS plus is 84. I guess a first base OPS plus. But if you're looking at second base production has been almost as bad. So at second base, you have the second baseman with only 10 home runs, 38 RBIs. They're batting .222 with a .637 OPS, and the OPS plus is 87. So Christian Walker is here. He's not going anywhere. You paid him a lot of money to come out here. So I don't think that upgrading a first base is option. You're married to this idea of Altuve playing the left field. He's not really embarrassing himself out there. So what's the other option? I know Isaac Paredes is on the IL for a little bit. We don't know how long yet. We haven't heard about any of the details yet. But the opening is at second base. And also we've heard for a while that Dana Brown really wants to get another left-handed bat. In fact, the Astros have the most bats from the right-handed throughout the season, and they need somebody until Alvarez comes back, and even when Alvarez comes back, they need some more left-handed hitters to balance out the lineup. So Jim Bowden today came out and said he mentioned the Astros twice. And this is not surprising, but one of them wasn't necessarily a rumor per se, but he just said, I could see this happening. So this is what he said. The Astros have made it clear to opposing general managers that they want a left-handed bat, preferably somebody that could play second base. Brandon Lowe of the Rays would be a perfect trade fit for them. He is having some foot issues. I think it's plantar fasciitis at the moment, but he is having a great season. We'll talk about him in a second. He would be a perfect fit for them. He comes with a 2026 team option. They are also focused on starting pitching, but in all likelihood, they'll trade for either a left-handed bat or a starting pitcher, or not both. So either the blue pill or the red pill, not both of them. So this is a situation where don't expect Dana Brown to go out and get multiple players. I think with the prospect capital that the Astros have, you're going to get one guy. Either you go get that ace, maybe not an ace, but you go get that big impact starter, or you go get that left-handed hitter. You're not going to see both. You may see a minor deal. You may see something small, but nothing big. And Bowden also said that if they go out and get a big piece, then he could also see Dana Brown winning the GM of the year if the Astros do go on and make it to the playoffs and do well, because of everything that the Astros have dealt with. Just think that the Astros have currently 16 players on IL, the most in Major League Baseball right now. And the fact, it's not just random players, it's some of your best players in baseball, and not the baseball, but on the Astros. Alvarez, Jake Myers, now Isaac Paredes, and then you got Jeremy Pena, who was your MVP this season. So yes, these guys you're missing, they're big time impact pieces. And there's other players, but you've had some guys step up. And like I've talked about on this podcast, the regression to the mean and guys coming back to earth a little bit. We've seen that over the past 10 games or so, where the guys are struggling a little bit offensively. On Sunday, they scored 11 runs. Taylor Trammell went out there and scored, had a home run and a double. You have Victor Caratini continue to come through, but the Astros need to get an upgrade. So before I talk about the other guy that Bowden talked about, let's go and talk a little bit about Brandon Lowe. He is not on IL right now, but he is dealing with some issues with his foot. But right now he's batting .269 with the OPS plus of 121. He's got 19 home runs, 50 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and he's got 800 OPS. So just imagine if he came onto the Astros team, he would probably be instantly one of their best hitters because of A, who's left on the roster, and B, just because a lot of players on the Astros are just not having great seasons. So the question is, how much would you have to give up for him? Because not only is he having a great season, they're the Rays. The Rays like to rebuild through trades. They do this every so often. Isaac Paredes traded to the Cubs last year, and then they use some of those players to play this year. And the Rays are not that far away from competing this year as well. Also, you have the extra year of control. That is expensive. That is not something that you could just throw in. That extra year of control is something that the Astros are going to have to pay a lot for. So it's just a matter of how much the Rays are willing to give, or sorry, how much the Astros are willing to give, and what the Rays are asking for. And all the other teams that are going to be checking out on what's going on with Lowe's foot right now, and also how he contributes in the next 10 days. So Brandon Lowe is one of the guys, but the big name, I kind of saved him on purpose. I'm kind of teasing a little bit, but this is a guy that I've been a kind of personal fan of, as long as he's not playing against the Astros. But he just reminds me of a certain Astro second baseman, not named Altuve, but he just reminds me a little bit about Craig Biggio. So we're going to talk about that next. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Hey guys, let's go and talk about game time. Game time. It's when you need a ticket, when you don't have a ticket, and you need it right away. Whether you're on the way to the game or you just decided at the last minute, hey, let's go to the game. Brett and I have done that before, and we've gone to game time and got a good ticket, because closer to the game, people decide, hey, I don't want to go, or I can't afford to lose any money on this ticket. So go to game time. just you're waiting in the long lines for concert tickets go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you're dying to see, whether it's Coldplay, you know what I'm trying to say there. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. That's what Game Time comes in, whether it's Astros or Rockets or Texans. Game Time makes getting to the ballpark faster and easier than ever. Prices actually drop as it gets closer to game time, and you can save up to 60% off with the killer last minute deals. So like I talked about earlier, whether you just decided last minute, just go ahead. Ever wonder what your seat will look like? Just go to the app and you can see the panoramic view. So there's no surprises. With Game Time, you can see the price that you're going to pay, no hidden fees, and take the guesswork out of buying game tickets with the Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Hey guys, while we're talking about getting to the ballpark, thank you for making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers and would like to do it as soon as possible. I think we're getting closer and closer. So it's all because of our everydayers. Thank you for helping us get to where we are. Thank you for everybody that makes us an everydayer and just listens to our podcast. So guys, one of my favorite players, Paul Goldschmidt, was one of the guys I kind of rooted for. Maybe it was because he's on my fantasy baseball team, but then he went to the Yankees. I couldn't root for him anymore. But one of the guys, as long as he's not playing against me, maybe because he's on my fantasy team as well, is Ozzie Albies. He's the second baseman for the Braves. I know that he dealt with injuries. He's already played more games this year than he did last year. But when he's on, he's one of the best hitters in the game in terms of second baseman. Jose Altuve in his prime, he was probably a better all-around player because he can hit for power. He can steal some bases. Albies was kind of a similar mold. I think you can kind of compare him as a cross between what Altuve and what Craig Biggio could do. But Albies is his own type of player, and he has that excitement. He has that energy that he can bring. And according to Jim Bowden, he is somebody that the Astros could target if the Braves make him available. The Braves have said that they're not listening to offers for Ozzie Albies. But a team like the Astros, who are looking for a left-handed hitting second baseman, would be a strong trade fit. So Ozzie Albies, what do you think about him? This year he's played, how many games has he played? He's had 375 at-bats. He's batting .221, 9 home runs, 38 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. He has an OPS plus of 75. Granted, those numbers are not impressive. But if you think about him, he's only 28 years old. He still is a former superstar. He's a guy that can come back. He's playing on a team that's just not very good. The Braves are not the same team. So if maybe he gets traded, he can just have that itch to become that star again. And I think that you can get that player for fairly cheap. He is a free agent. Let me pull this up. I thought I had this up. But there are options for 26 and 27 for team options. So he does have options to play, but they are worth only $7 million. So if the Astros trade for him, they're definitely going to pick up those $7 million options. But so that means you technically have 2 more years of controls, because unless he just comes over and he's a big flop, kind of like Carlos Gomez was when he came over to the Astros, I'm pretty sure they're going to pick that up. But the question is, now Brandon Lowe had 1 year of control. Now you have Albies, who has 2 years of additional control. So that makes him a little bit more expensive. And so the Braves will be using him to rebuild their team if they decide to do that. Like I said, they have no intentions of really, really, truly trading him away. But if they did, this would be a good way to kind of rebuild on the fly without giving up some of the bigger pieces. They have some smaller pieces. I know that Michael Harris is a guy that could be traded. I don't think the Astros would trade for him. I think Jake Myers could be back at some point. I don't think outfield is a big need for the Houston Astros. I think that definitely second base is a big thing. But you're talking about Albies, somebody that as of 2 years ago, he hit 33 home runs, had 109 RBIs, had 13 stolen bases, batted .280 with an .849 OPS. So he is not I know we have all these former superstar players come to Houston and then flop, like Jose Abreu and now Christian Walker. But I just think that Albies is still young enough. He's 28 years old, 2 more years of team control. I don't know if the Astros have what it would take to get the job done. You're talking about Bryce Matthews. You're talking about Ulola, maybe some other prospects, but it would be a pretty big package to get somebody like that. And so this is just what we're hearing right now. Nothing's been confirmed. And I know that Bob Nightingale said that the Astros are interested in basically any left-handed hitter out there because they're trying to not be so right-handed, because during the regular season, it's not that big a deal. It is in a way, but during the playoffs, that's when teams tend to capitalize on being too left-handed, or too right-handed. So this is a situation that the Astros are trying to work on. So will any of these guys be a Houston Astro? With Lowe, I think that the injury that he's dealing with right now, that's a lot of question marks right before the trade deadline. And then also Albies, he's not having a great year. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. So these are just some things that we need to look at. And starting pitcher, like I mentioned earlier in the show, it's either a hitter or a impact starter. They may make a deal for a small bullpen arm, somebody like that, but I just don't see them going out and making a big time deal. This may be a one trade type of season because the team is winning with the players they have right now. So maybe they feel confident with what they have. They just need one more player and everybody to come back. Some of those 16 players that they have on the IL to come back and to contribute. And B, I just don't think that they have the prospects to get the job done without trading some of their big time guys. I think they want to, especially with the way Yainer Diaz has maybe dropped off a little bit this year, they want to hold on to Walker Yannick, but I don't know if they could do that. Bryce Matthews, I'm sure they want to hold on to him despite it's a small sample size, but he hasn't really had instant success with the Astros. But I think with time, he will kind of get going. So I'll go and take some time to answer some questions. So Susan says, when will Pena get back? I believe he's just starting to ramp up activities. I think he's in Florida. So I would say they're not rushing him back. I think maybe sometime mid-August is when he'll probably come back. I think that you have enough players who could play shortstop right now. Dubon, Zach Short, Bryce Matthews has played shortstop at some point. So this is something I wanted to ask. Michael H. says, trying to rebuild the farm system. Astros must stay pat. This is something that I've been talking with some of my friends. Do you think that the Astros really need to make a trade deadline deal? Do they need to trade away 3 or 4 of their prospects to upgrade their lineup? Or should they just hope that their players come back healthy? I mean, there's a whole bunch of ifs. And if let's just say with your rotation, if you don't make a trade for a starter, who's your number 3? Is it Spencer Arrighetti? Who's your number 3? Is it Brandon Walter at this point? There's just so many question marks about the rotation despite the success recently. but the offense is definitely something that needs to be upgraded. So Dana Brown is probably working the phones, just trying to figure out something. And he also says, no way I trade Matthews for Albies. No, we're not trading no, I'm not going to say that. Priority, David says priority is a third starter. Let's see what else. Alvarez has joined the chat, but I like Jaquin says, I like Ozzie, but the last thing the team needs is a mid acquisition. Yeah, we'll see. Thank you. That Miguel pitcher. Astros versus everybody. I don't think that's a real Alvarez. Oh yeah, I think Albies is a switch hitter. Yeah, he is a switch hitter. So he's not technically a left-handed hitter, but he can bat from the left-handed side. So, but anyway, so for those of y'all just joining, I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast now. I'm going to do a podcast later on today, but for the people that are just joining, Jim Bowden of The Athletic said that Ozzie Albies is basically probably not going anywhere, but if he is going to go somewhere, expect the Astros to make a strong push for him because he fits their needs and especially with their control. I added a little bit of that, but the other name that he mentioned was Brandon Lowe, just because of his ability, his control. He's under control for one more year, and he's a left-handed hitting second baseman. So, guys, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Hopefully, later on tonight, we'll be talking about Astros victory. My name is Eric Huysman. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out, and we will see you later. And go Astros.